I would say the ships are a destination unto themselves. Just like somebody might choose a hotel as a bucket list destination, I can see them also choosing Explora Journeys to say, I want to go and discover my ocean state of mind. And you can see they feel free. They feel relaxed. They feel connected. They feel more social. We don't always like to talk cruise. We rather talk about ocean travel, as that really brings that experience, that romance of travel. And at the end of the day, travel at its core is about transformation.
Welcome to Luxury on Air, where we explore the trends, innovations, and personalities defining and redefining the luxury industry.
Who has never secretly dreamt of being a guest on a luxury cruise boat? In the spirit of the classic 80s TV show Love Boat. Being surrounded by attentive staff and living great adventures on and off board. Well, where there are dreams, there are dream makers. More and more luxury players, whether coming from land or sea, have entered the space. And the cruise industry is promising. Since the 2020 COVID dip, the travelers are embarking on board again. JP Morgan estimated in summer 24 that 2024 should finish with even 6% more travelers than 2019, pre-pandemic. According to research Nestor, 2025 would see a luxury cruise ship market of over 10 billion USD. With a growing CAGR of 8%, it might reach even over 27 billion USD by 2037. Interestingly, while baby boomers once formed the core consumer base for the cruise industry, an increasing number of younger travelers and first-time passengers are now coming on board for amusement, discovery, and wellness. And cruise voyages, which often work out cheaper than land-based vacations, are growing in popularity. So why are traditional cruise companies now moving into the luxury space? Why are luxury hotels investing in their expansion on the sea? How to be distinctive and attract the luxury travelers of today and tomorrow. My name is Karine Szegedi, and I'm thrilled to have a passionate female CEO to discuss and unpack these questions during our new podcast episode of Season 5 of Luxury on Air, analyzing the trends of the luxury industry. I'm pleased to welcome Anna Nash, President of Explora Journeys, an exquisite modern luxury cruise experience founded by 300-year-old family-owned cruise giant MSC. Dear Anna, it's great of having you on board today on this new episode that we called Ocean State of Mind. So you have entered the space quite recently, in fact, after over 20 years in the ultra-luxury hospitality space, where you have built your experience between land and train with Aman, Rosewood, and Orient Express. Welcome, Anna, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Karine. It's good to be here. And I'm delighted to talk more about Explora Journeys and our vision, and of course, my journey getting here, working with other luxury brands like Orient Express, Rosewood, most recently Aman, and now, of course, Explora Journeys, where we are in the business of ocean travel. We don't always like to talk cruise because I still believe that has a slight stigma attached. So we rather talk about ocean travel, as that really brings that experience, that romance of travel. And at the end of the day, travel at its core is about transformation. And as you mentioned, that ocean state of mind, that is our core philosophy, really at the center of everything that we're doing as a brand.
So ocean travel, it'll be this for today. And we will maybe start as well already. You joined just very recently. We said it was in September 24. You moved from the UK to Geneva to take over the role of the CEO of Explora Journeys. And, after all the experiences you have, always in luxury, but there is a difference, I believe, between, ocean and train and land. Can you share the aha moment that opened up your eyes and your mind when you joined Explora Journeys?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Much like our journeys are transformational and an experience. I really believe that with my career. And I believe in serendipity and fate as to how I got here, as much as the experience and dedication that I've put in. But for me, stepping into the cruise industry or ocean travel really felt like a natural evolution. I've only ever worked in luxury hospitality, and this felt like the right moment to really bring my experience of luxury land-based hospitality, putting our guests at the center of everything that we do, and really bringing that to the oceans. I suppose for me, my biggest aha moment was realizing the unique mindset that our cruise travelers have, actually. Unlike land-based hospitality, where guests often focus on a single destination, luxury ocean travel is as much about the journey itself as the destinations that we go to. And for us, moving our guests seamlessly between one extraordinary place to another is really about this refined experience in between and the destinations that we visit. So for us and our guests, they're craving a deep personal connection to the ship and our hosts on board, but also having that opportunity to, we say, sort of linger longer. We get into ports earlier, we leave ports later, so really allowing them to immerse themselves into perhaps also some of the smaller ports that we visit as a smaller ship.
So is there a difference between the Orient Express that is moving in between cities as well, but on the train, and the boat that is moving in between destinations on the sea?
I think it depends which Orient Express journey you do, but often that was really an A to B, whereas we tend to be an A to B to C to D, and it continues depending on how long that you're on the ship for. So for us as a brand, we've purposely designed our itineraries so that we don't repeat ports within a short distance or short amount of time, so that we will do 7 nights, 14 nights, 21 nights, often without repeating the same port, so that our guests can tack on different journeys to make it a longer extended journey. So, we try and build in sea days through their time with us, but also it's about getting off the ship and really getting into the local cultures and the destinations that we visit.
So you mentioned different destinations, different itineraries. Maybe can you give us a few examples of what itineraries would look like?
Yeah.
I mean, and what are you following the whole globe, or is it very local, or does it depend on the length? Maybe just for listeners to set the tone and to understand where Explora Journeys is traveling.
So I think it's first important to sort of state where we are as a brand. So we're 2 ships currently sailing at the moment. We still have 4 more ships in construction. So we'll have a full fleet of 6 ultra elegant ships by 2028. So Explora 1 and Explora 2 are currently sailing. We are in the East Med and the West Med in the summer months, and then in the winter we're in the Caribbean. But as we grow our fleet and we have a larger number of ships, we will then increase our deployment. So you'll find us in the Arabian Peninsula, the Red Sea. We will be in Northern Europe next year with Explora 3. In the Baltic Sea, you'll find us in the Norwegian fjords, Iceland, Greenland, and then the east coast of Canada and America for the fall season. So as our fleet grows, so will our deployment. An example of one itinerary I can give you, actually, I was just on board Explora 1 last week. And it was a really nice short segment, which we often do sell. So typically you'll find us, as I mentioned earlier, 7 nights, 14 nights or 21. I actually managed to get on board for a shorter 4-night segment, which is perfect for the time poor. We boarded in Barcelona. So we had the day to explore before we boarded the ship, Barcelona. The next day we were in Palma, Mallorca, and we run a variety of different excursions, or you can explore at leisure, go and have a nice coffee in Palma, shopping. The next day, we had a sea day, so nowhere to go. We were on the ship. The ship was the destination. The day after, we're in Palermo. And again, we organised various different excursions. And then we finalised our trip in Malta, in Valletta, which I'd never been to before, and had a full day city tour there. So again, it was a journey for me that was short, but it was close to home. But it took me to places, Palermo, I'd never been to before, or Valletta. So I think that's the beauty as well, that for those 4 days, I really felt that I'd, 1, unpacked once, And it was very, very easy for us to explore a number of destinations that we'd not been to with ease. And the weather was beautiful. The food on board was incredible. So shorter journeys, I think, are also something we're seeing as a trend, especially with today's working professionals.
Time. That's a very important commodity. Commodity is losing, and we see. I mean, the younger generation as well. They value time over money.
Absolutely,
because it's getting rarer and rarer. And then and of course, I mean, I didn't know that you had 4 days, but that's exactly what people are looking for as well, to do the city hopping. It was super short experience.
And I actually go back to what you said earlier in the intro about how, cruising can be seen as a more affordable way to travel. And I would agree. I think, there's definitely the value for your investment because we are an all-inclusive proposition, and all-inclusive, again, can have a slight negative stigma, but it is a luxury experience, incredible food and beverages as part of that, but also it's value for time. We make that 4 days that I had on the ship felt longer because everything was taken care of. We didn't have to pack and unpack. We just really were there for 4 days.
Can you maybe, for the listener, make us understand? I mean, you gave us an example of a 4-day journey where you hop on, hop off, and you see some cities, and you have time maybe to shop or to have a coffee in a city. How does a day usually? How is a day usually spent on the boat? I mean, do you have a lot of activities, or is it more to relax? What can people expect on the boat?
I mean, the ship is also the destination. There's so much to do on board. A typical day, I would say, would be waking up, pulling back the curtains. Every single suite has an ocean terrace, views of the ocean, watching the sunrise as we're coming into destination and seeing what is the scenery that's unfolding today. Going to get a coffee down at Crema Cafe, which is really the heart and soul of the ship, sits in the middle, the most incredible coffees and great chatter. You'll find the teams there, often the captains there, talking amongst the guests on board. We'll have a variety of activities. There could be sound baths, or there could be morning yoga. There could be a Pilates class that we run complimentary. We have indoor fitness, a big techno gym, but we also have some equipment outside, so you can exercise on a rowing machine or a bike out with the incredible ocean views. So then it would be breakfast in Emporium Marketplace, which is our main dining hall, if you will. I mean, we have 6 standalone restaurants, but the Emporium Marketplace has 18 standalone food stations where everything is cooked a la minute for you. So you can go and have the most incredible breakfast. You can choose from fresh fruits. You can have cooked breakfast there, healthy, freshly made juices, salads. All the breads and pastries are made on board. So often a really fulfilling breakfast at Emporium Marketplace. And then it might be that we arrive into destination, the port, by about 9 a.m. And then it's very, very easy to disembark and either explore at leisure or take advantage of one of the many tours and excursions that we would organise. And then it would typically be back on board by about 6 or 7. And then, of course, it's the perfect timing for a sundowner on the sky bar on the top deck. There might be an opportunity for some more exercise or a swim in one of the 5 pools, and then on to dinner, perhaps somewhere like Sakura, which is our Pan-Asian restaurant. So it can be as sort of full as you wish, but it can also be a very slow-paced, unhurried experience. And we do find that sometimes guests that are on board for those longer journeys don't actually leave the ship for some days. They just enjoy, being in their own little bubble and just sort of forgetting the woes of the world.
Makes sense, yeah. And it's funny. I mean, that's always the dilemma. You want to see the city, but you want to take advantage of all the amenities on board, and what do you do? Huh? That's but it's good to have the option and to have the choice. You're missing out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have the choice, and sometimes it's nice just to sit with a book and just enjoy your terrace or sitting by the pool and not running around. I think we're all very, very busy in our lives. I think time is the one thing that none of us have enough of. So sometimes it's good just to slow down and not do too much.
And I mean, you gave us the vision of how a day is and how you had your 4-day cruise. I mean, Explora is luxury ocean travel compared to, of course, your mother company, MSC, that is more, all public travel. So how do you make this luxury piece? How do you add this luxury piece to the regular cruise shipping at Explora?
So we're incredibly fortunate that we are part of the MSC group. Our sister brand, of course, is MSC Cruises. So we have 23 premium contemporary ships with them. And of course, we have the cargo side of the business. Our family are from 300 years of maritime and seafaring heritage. They're masters of the sea, so we know what we're doing. We have an incredible support centre here in our HQ. We have a maritime support centre that we sort of share with MSC. So we've really been able to focus on the guest experience, the innovation that we want for our brand as a new brand. So we're very lucky that we have all of those services that we can utilize so that we can really focus our time on building this incredible brand and bringing something entirely different to ocean travel, somewhere that puts our guests at the center of the entire experience. And our ships, as you'll see, are absolutely beautiful. They're this lovely, deep marine blue in terms of their livery. They're fairly large if you look at them in terms of sizing, but that was done with the purpose of giving our guests a variety and choice of amenities, giving our guests that generosity of space so that if you want to be social, you can do, but actually at the same time, if you want to go away and hide, you could find a cabana on the top deck or a corner or a nook that is entirely your own. So we've really learned through the many hundreds of years of maritime history that we have to build the best in class. We also, as a brand, were built on the art of listening. So before the brand was launched, we surveyed over 20,000 potential customers, asking them what they would like to see in a new cruise brand. So we've really been built through listening. As a privately owned brand, as a family brand, we're also incredibly buoyant. But it also means that we're incredibly agile and nimble. So listening to feedback is constant for us because we can and will adapt and adjust. And I think, we don't have a board that we need to go to. We're not a listed brand that we have to think very carefully about what we want to do. We can take risks. We can listen to our guests, and we really find that that's working for us.
That's very, very interesting. So let's deep dive on the listening skills that you have, because I'd like to understand who is coming on board and why are they coming on board. Huh? Let's maybe start with the who. I mean, who are your customers? We said that, baby boomers were the historic customers of cruising, let's say like this. Of course, Gen Z is very, very millennials upcoming. Yeah. They love luxury. So first of all, who is coming on board on the two Explora boards that are currently on the sea?
So we've been sailing for less than 2 years. Explora 1 was launched in August 2023. Explora 2 was launched in September 2024. So we're still seeing a lot of change with who our customers are and the trends. We don't have, as a long established brand, sort of year on year data. So we're still learning at the same time. We're sort of really still understanding the ebbs and the flows and who our customers are. We've had an incredible variety of ages. I'd say our average age is probably mid-50s, but we're seeing a lot of multi-generational families that really enjoy taking the larger suites really as that sort of central social room as a family, and then we have a number of interconnecting suites around them that they can be together or indeed have their space. So a lot of multi-generational families are enjoying the ship. A lot of young couples we're finding as well. But I think for us, most interestingly, is about a quarter of our guests are new to cruise. So those are customers that have never cruised before, are taking their first time with us, and they're really, really enjoying it. Our NPS scores are well into the 80s. And something else that's very different to land-based hospitality is the detailed feedback. The surveys that we receive post-travel from our guests is phenomenal. The level of detail that they go into, sharing of what they felt they enjoyed, perhaps what they didn't enjoy so much, is incredibly useful for us. But yeah, I think the new to cruise is definitely a trend that we're seeing, and a segment that we can definitely do more with.
But the new to cruise, what age are they, or what background are there, and international?
I'd say mid to early 50s. The US is one of our key markets. As a luxury brand, it was really the same in lots of the other brands that I'd worked with before. But we're a global brand with a global audience. So you'll see a number of nationalities on any given trip, but the US is predominantly UK. Switzerland actually is one of our key markets as well. So but I'd say mid to early 50s for those new to cruisers, and lots of young couples are sort of taking to the waters for the first time because they realize how precious their time is, how perhaps little vacation time they have, and they want to tick off a number of destinations and see and experience a number of different cultures, but also do it with ease and find time to relax, all the while doing that.
And maybe just in terms of demographic, my last question would be, we see more and more offers for single travelers because single travelers want to be taken care of, and single female travelers as well because of security, and they like to be with them. Did you explore anything in that space?
Absolutely, and solo travelers are really key to us, dear to our hearts. We have a number of sailings actually where we don't offer a supplement. We don't charge a supplement for solo travelers, which you'll find is quite commonplace in the industry. So we really welcome solo travelers. On board any of the journeys, you'll find opportunities where we'll have organised cocktails, we'll have board games, we'll do excursions. So we'll give the chance for solo travelers to connect if they wish, but at the same time they can find their own space as well. But it's a really safe environment. It's a social environment, and we see a high number of solo travelers, repeaters as well, traveling with us.
It's great to hear, because there is more and more single people, of course, and they have to definitely be taken care of. Maybe back to the why do people travel, and why do people luxury travel or luxury ocean travel? You mentioned some of the amenities that you have, but of course, you can travel because you want to see the destinations, or you can travel because you're interested by what is on board. You mentioned a lot of very fantastic restaurants, but of course there's the shopping experience. There might be the wellness as well. Do you have to have all, or how do you balance, in fact, between all the investments to attract the luxury traveler on your boats?
That's a good question. I would say the ships are a destination unto themselves. We've come, as I mentioned earlier, from incredible maritime heritage and knowledge and know-how. So the hardware that we have is the best on the oceans at the moment. And I definitely see that as a draw for our customers. And, just like somebody might choose a hotel as a bucket list destination, I can see them also choosing Explora Journeys to say, I want to go and experience Explora Journeys. I want to go and discover my ocean state of mind. And you see, the minute that guests step from the shore onto the ship, their shoulders drop. You can see they feel free, they feel relaxed, they feel connected, they feel more social, they feel almost there's this equality on the ship, that the guests suddenly want to chat to each other. They want to maybe meet somebody over a martini and have a chat. So there's definitely a social side too that people seem to enjoy when they're on the ship. You're in this little floating bubble, this sort of alternative world that all the geopolitical tensions that are on in the world don't matter when you're on board. And again, because it's an all-inclusive experience, you can share a cocktail or you can join somebody for dinner, and you're not having to say, well, who's paying? I'll pay the bill tonight. You pay it tomorrow. Just those little, but it's also just those glitches in the middle of a conversation that become quite awkward. And it's just a very freeing sense that when you finished your meal, you're free to leave, and you can then go perhaps and have that sundown, or go to the lovely lobby bar and enjoy the Steinway piano. And it just feels much more social. So I definitely see the ships as the draw. And as I mentioned earlier, there's 6 standalone restaurants. There's Sakura, which is Pan-Asian. We have Fil Rouge, we have the Yacht Club, which is a very sort of informal sharing concept, sort of think of those Mediterranean dishes that you might sort of experience, or Anthology, which is our an extra experiential fee. and a very, very wonderful fine dining, 7-course fine dining experience. So there is one that sort of comes at an extra charge, but you do find that people want to experience that once during their sailing with us. Ocean wellness for us is key. That is the sort of the mindset that accompanies our spa and our wellness facilities. So we have 11 treatment rooms. We have sauna, steam room, a salt room that you can go and just relax in. Very, very good for your lungs, and very, very sort of healthy experience. And as I mentioned earlier, Pilates, yoga, all sorts to really help you switch off and feel healthy once you leave. And of course, with all-inclusive, food is in abundance, but you can be guided and pick those healthy choices, those sort of ocean wellness, sort of more healthier dishes that you might want to have during your journey with us. And then there's entertainment through the ship. There's activities. We have a children's club called Nautilus. So there really is something for everyone. You can do as much as you want, but at the same time, if you just want to sit, as I mentioned, with a book and enjoy the ever-changing views, then of course you can do as well.
And what about shopping, Anna? When we spoke, when we first met, you were giving some incredible stories about some clients coming on board because they wanted to shop in your boat.
Yeah. So we have a number of boutiques within our ships. They are slightly different between Explora 1 and Explora 2. We have our own boutique called The Journey, where you'll find some Explora Journeys sort of branded, logoed jackets, polo shirts, caps. But also we have a Rolex boutique, the only floating standalone Rolex boutique at sea. We have Piaget, we have Cartier, Panerai. So we have a number of incredible boutiques for our guests to purvey. And it's actually a really nice, very relaxed shopping experience. Very welcoming, because I know that sometimes it can be quite intimidating to go into some of these boutiques, but on the ship, the doors are open. We have stock for guests as well. So they really enjoy just going to learn about these brands, going to chat with the hosts within them. And often we do see some very nice mementos purchased, as a sort of souvenir from their trip. We do also just have, which has just been launched on the ships, something called Beloved. I think it's called Encore, which is pre-loved handbags, and they're doing very, very well. So, where you can purchase Chanel bags or Louis Vuitton or Hermes, pre-loved, pre-owned, but incredible condition, and obviously those that are much harder to come by. So that's proving to be very popular as well.
Following the trend, pre-loved is definitely a trend in luxury, and again, the younger generations move more into the pre-loved than maybe the historical baby boomers.
Yeah, and there's a lovely story behind that, and the pieces as well, and I think that's what the guests really enjoy.
Absolutely. Maybe the last question on who and why. Some people now tend to work, of course, the nomad workers, they tend to work in the places that maybe are warmer, nicer, more sunnier than their hometown, especially if they don't have to be in the office every day. Do you see these clients as well joining you on a cruise?
We do. It's incredible to see that there's some guests, even as a new brand, I've interacted with a number of guests who've done 45 night sailings, and before they've left, they've booked 67 nights, 65 nights for the next year. So they, one, just enjoy the freedom of the ocean, but two, the amenities that we have on board. But I think really all of that is centered around the most incredible Starlink Wi-Fi that we have. So high-speed Wi-Fi, which is complementary part of the experience, enables our guests to stay connected, to work, to do those video calls if they so need to, while at sea. So you'll find that people are able to really combine work and leisure perfectly.
You mentioned technology. Let's maybe then move into the technology topic. We like to ask our guests, what are you doing in terms of technology investments? I mean, are you you mentioned the Starlink Wi-Fi on board, but of course, I mean, you mentioned personalization. You mentioned as well ease of booking, ease of being taken care of. How do you use the technology on board or pre-cruise or after the cruise as well to make the stay memorable?
Oh, there's so many different systems when it comes to cruising, and that's something I see as a huge difference between land-based hospitality and cruising is the amount of systems, the complexity of the reservation system, and how it all connects once on board to make sure we know what we need to know about every single guest, and make sure that we can really over exceed their expectations. I suppose one standout feature for us would be the app that we have, which enables our guests to check in pre-trip, and then once on board really manage their own restaurant reservations, their spa reservations, the destination experiences, and sort of follow the journey along the way. So an app that we're continually investing in and improving, but I think is very welcomed by our clientele on board.
Thank you for that, and I'm sure that there's a lot of thoughts behind it and a lot of difficulties to make it all combine, connect, and
But I think any good technology has to be accompanied by personal service and real humans at the center of it all. And we're still a brand that is about people, whether it's our people as a team or our customers coming together. But, our call center, for example, yes, we're using technology in the background, but first and foremost, it is a personal service. And every single customer is seen as a customer, not a number.
So you don't have robots running around serving your guests yet on the boat?
Not yet. Not yet.
Might come, huh?
Maybe in the future. It's awkward
when you test this at a restaurant. I tested it, and he's standing there and he's waiting for you to take the plate. You're a bit surprised.
No, it's still very centered on that human, very personal touch.
Absolutely, Kenneth. So the funny thing is, you mentioned the floating bubble where everything is so different. And I again refer to my childhood memories of the Love Boat series that I like to look. Are the feelings, in Love Boats, just for our listeners, people were embarking, you were following, some were quarreling, some were in love, some had difficult situations. Then the staff was getting involved, and at the end, everything ends well with some love stories and weddings and some drama. It depends, but it was just so amazing. But every time the staff, the captain, the doctor were very much involved, and of course the barkeeper, because people were talking at the bar. Can you share some fun stories? You of course recently joined MSC as well, Explora, or even on the Orient Express. Is it because you are locked into a place? The feelings are stronger, the drama is bigger, or do you not experience that and people are still acting the same if they're on board or on the train?
I think we talk about Explora Journeys, not Explora Cruises, and I believe that when there's a journey that talks about adventure, there's the pre-journey, the planning. So there's sort of the actual journey itself or the adventure, and then the ending. And people naturally want to book a cruise, be it on the water, be it a train experience, to fulfill a need state. Do they want to spend more time with family? Do they want to, is it a honeymoon? Do they need to spend more time with their loved ones? So there's generally a need state that we're looking to fulfill for each and every one of our guests. They're looking to explore the world. They want to explore the world with ease. So definitely, and as I mentioned earlier, when people step from shore to ship, there is this transformation. They do feel freer. So for sure, there's some lovely romance, there's stories, there's weddings, there's honeymoons. So many of those I can't divulge, but I will tell you, I met my husband on board the Orient Express. So there are stories of romance on the rails perhaps, and I'm sure on the high seas too.
That is a fantastic story. Congratulations. I hope that you're a happy couple.
It was 17, 18 years ago. So and it's funny, I fondly remember all of my different journeys and experiences. But of course, as I mentioned, those moments, those life-changing milestones, you will, of course, remember forever. So I was in Thailand aboard the Eastern and Oriental Express. And that's where I talk about serendipity in a way, and fate, and how sometimes you've got to let your own journey unfold, be it your life journey, be it your career journey. And I also find it, strange, but again, maybe it was meant to be. In my first role with Orient Express, I used to go into the office every day, Sea Containers House in London, and I'd walk into the office and I was sort of met by these huge models of sea container ships. And here I am now, 25 years later, walking through MSC, and again, there's sea containers, the models, and then of course with the MSC cargo ships, and then of course models of the cruise ships. So it just feels like, wow, it was meant to be. So I also believe that sometimes you've got to let yourself go and watch your own journey unfold.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been better with your luxury experience today, open luxury, and then here you are shipping and luxury at the same time. Perfect moment. And exactly, I mean, there is the attraction, of course. I mean, MSC launched Explora Journeys, but we see as well that, MSC was on the water, and that's where they have all their experience, but they wanted this absolutely luxury experience. But what we see as well, Ritz-Carlton has as well a few yachts on the sea, and Four Seasons wants to open its first one in 2026. So very established hotel luxury chains are going on the water to build their own ship or yacht. Why is it so attractive, and is it an easy journey? One is to upgrade from water to luxury, and the other is from luxury on the land to water. It's still two different journeys, but none of them is easy.
No, but I talk about this a lot, and I really welcome these land-based hospitality brands taking to the oceans, because for me, they will help to banish that stigma that I mentioned earlier that still exists about cruising, that it's for a certain demographic. And I cruised a lot before I joined Explora Journeys, and people used to say to me, gosh, you're cruising, you're so young, why would you do that? So, cruising is an incredible way to see the world, and it's an incredibly privileged way to see the world. And the way that we do it with the flair and the sophistication and the ultra elegance is what we're really, really pushing and trailblazing. And I welcome Four Seasons, Oman, Ritz-Carlton coming to the waters, because I really believe that they'll bring this wave of momentum. They'll bring this new customer. They'll market to their customers about ocean travel. And of course, we've been doing this as a brand for many, many decades. We've got that maritime knowledge. We are masters of the sea. And I believe that then that will give us an opportunity to market to an entirely new customer. So for me, when the water in the harbour rises, all of the boats will rise together. So I welcome that and bringing, land-based hospitality lovers to the water. And we need to see more of that.
Market growing, as I said in my intro.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's absolutely growing market, new customers, and the more it's being spoken about, the more people experiment, and it's a lot of word of mouth, I believe, as well, how you recruit your clients.
Absolutely. And it's also about, our teams, about 35% of our hosts on board have actually come from the hotel world. Not traditionally the maritime or the cruising world. And again, I think that's brought an entirely new perspective to the way that we service and look after our guests on board. It's really brought this sort of magical service that wasn't experienced before on the seas. And I know that the teams have really welcomed this opportunity to learn from those that have got maybe more maritime experience versus those that have come traditionally from land-based hospitality. So again, it's just thinking about different ways of doing things. And for us, I feel as a woman leading a cruise brand, a relatively young woman leading a cruise brand, we've really got this opportunity to change this stigma and to make ocean travel the way of choice, the traveler choice for our customers moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. And you take up the challenge. You're there. You are a very hard worker. You said you never switch off. You're completely connected, and you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah, it's not a 9-to-5 role. In a way, it's 24/7. Our ships are operating 24/7, and things happen on the ships that we need to address and help from the land side, but also, we've got teams and customers across all corners of the globe. So it is 24/7, and we're building a brand. We're one of the fastest growing ultra luxury cruise brands in history to sort of do what we're doing in terms of, one, creating the brand and the vision, trailblazing, but actually physically building the hardware to have a full fleet of 6 ships by 2028 is incredible. So we didn't have a ship launch this year. This year has really been a year focused around sort of housekeeping, systems, teams, processes. And then we have Explora 3 launching next year, 2026, 2 ships launching in 27, and then the 6th in 2028. So we've got a lot to get done. So no time at the moment to sort of pause. We're go, 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 which is so exciting.
And with a smile, which is even better.
Always with a smile.
Always. Yeah, you mentioned, the staff on board is more coming from the hotel world and luxury hotel world. I'm not surprised because, the luxury service needs this special touch and attention. Yeah. I was just reflecting, hotel business schools still have a nice future in front of them, to have all the people, even now for luxury cruising or boating. Maybe they should have a special dedication on sea travel in their schools coming up, because there's more and more on the sea.
Absolutely. And we do a lot actually with the hospitality schools in Switzerland. We have a large intake of interns twice a year in HQ. And I really encourage and hope that some of those will stay with us once they graduate, but also spend some of their time working on the ships and really experiencing both sides. So no, I hear you, and I think it's a huge sector, and I think there's still a lot to be done from that sort of hospitality school and the initial training, and also to inspire people that there's more to hospitality than hotels, to really consider cruising and think about the opportunities that it brings, because we're operating so many different elements on a ship. We have the restaurants, the pools, the spa, we have a medical center, we operate shore excursions, we book flights. It is, it's a 360-degree experience in itself, and there's so many different areas that the young professionals can really find and discover what interests them and specialize in that particular area, be it itinerary planning. I mean, that's a whole department in itself. So a very exciting sector to work in as well, I'd say.
I believe so. And we do have people from the business schools coming as well. I mean, they have a very broad spectrum. They have a lot of options. Once they leave these schools, that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
One more question before we close, and on your future vision, is on sustainability. Of course, I mean, that's a very important topic for the younger generations, but I mean, for the planet as a whole. We know cruise shipping is using a lot of fuel, is using a lot of resources. How do you manage, and what are the demands of your clients, and how do you manage these aspects in your daily business?
Sustainability is definitely at the core of Explora Journeys' vision for the future of luxury ocean travel. Explora 3, as I mentioned, launching next year, will be the first LNG-powered ship in our fleet. And that really reflects our commitment to decarbonising marine operations and reducing that environmental impact. LNG is a transitional fuel that facilitates the shift towards a drop in bio-LNG and synthetic LNG. So, we're really focusing on efforts on developing new technologies, innovative ship designs, enhanced energy efficiency practices, and of course that transition, as I mentioned, to renewable fuels. Explora 3 is also designed with shore power capabilities and advanced energy efficiency features, ensuring a more sustainable footprint. So, there's lots that we are investing in as a brand, and really making sure that our impact is as minimal as possible. And we do also have the MSC Foundation, which is an incredible foundation run by our family, and we do all sorts of incredible sort of initiatives there to really give back. So definitely something that sits at the heart of our vision.
Yeah, and it's a lot of investment, but I mean, of course, we know the consumer doesn't really want to pay extra. It's just it has to be done. If not, they will turn away from your brand. And And that's nice to see that Explora 3 will already be on the forefront of a lot of technologies that are in this space.
Definitely.
Last question, and we cannot close a podcast without your vision of the future. I mean, we ask you the vision of the luxury industry, but as well of the ocean cruise and the luxury hospitality. I mean, we spoke about you having some innovation. You were doing the Formula One in Monaco. You were the only ship that was standing there. So you're doing things already that others don't do, and you think differently. What is your vision on how will the ocean cruising evolve? How will luxury overall evolve? How do you see that in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see the ocean travel industry having its best years yet to come. As I said, I think with the hospitality brands taking to the waters, with us as an incredibly buoyant new brand, redefining that ocean travel experience and leading the way with that, I think will definitely help make cruising an option for those that perhaps had never considered it. So I think in that sense the future for ocean travel, the horizon is incredibly bright. For us, we're always looking for ways to innovate. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, as we expand our fleet, we will also expand the deployment, where we will be sailing. So stay tuned on that. By mid-May, we'll be launching the sails for Explora 4, and we've got some incredible new destinations coming out that we've not yet been to. As you mentioned, Formula One, we're MSC are title sponsors for Formula One. As part of that, Explora Journeys sponsors a number of races, but as part of that, we will be the only ship which is docked in Port Hercule in Monaco for the entire duration of the race week. So we will be actually operating like a floating hotel. We will not be moving that week. We will be stationary. And we've got all sorts of incredible experiences and opportunities during that week. So you'll be the most ideal location in the heart of the action, but some fun cocktail parties, some actual sort of late night parties on deck, and we will have some drivers coming on board. So for us, again, it's just looking at the different ways that we can enhance our experience to our guests, to really give them a reason to come back and sail with us again. So Formula One for us is a big project this year, and of course in future years to come.
So I hear you very bullish, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, very.
And it's fascinating. I mean, it's fascinating and motivating as well for you to be part of a growing industry and in a growing platform with the right company that can put investments behind, and that you can still influence what is being done, the transformation, sustainable transformation, new destinations. That's quite fascinating, and still make people dream. I mean, I think what I remember from today's take away from today's discussion is that consumer or at the center, think around him, think for him, make it a memorable experience, but as well a very seamless experience, where you can discover, relax, connect, spend time, and time is longer on the boats than it is on the ground, which is fantastic.
Yeah. It's true. And I think to sort of wrap that up, I think it's those little moments. It's those money can't buy moments of genuine interaction, genuine hospitality with a true heart. And when I'm on board and have the opportunity to speak to our customers on board and watch the way that our hosts, our staff interact with them, it's incredible. And you see service that's genuinely delivered with care and a smile, and you see that a smile and a thank you is delivered in return. And that sort of warrants this sort of fulfilling cycle of happiness and respect. And I want to come back for more. And it's incredible to watch. I have inherited the most amazing team, both onshore and on the ships, a team I'm incredibly proud of. And as I said, we're a brand with purpose. We've got a lot of confidence. We know what we're doing. We're always listening. We'll always amend, but we've got a lot of confidence and drive to really redefine ocean travel. So exciting future ahead.
That sounds great. Anna, thank you so much for joining this episode of Luxury on Air. I think we learned a lot. We dream a lot, and we now really, really want to go on the sea on an incredible ship. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been great to chat. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Luxury on Air with Karine Szegedi and Felicitas Morhart. This podcast is provided to you by Deloitte, Switzerland and the Swiss Center for Luxury Research. If you've enjoyed this episode, you can leave us a 5-star review. If you're keen to stay up to date on what's trending in the luxury industry, don't forget to subscribe. As always, you can find more information about the current episode in the show notes. We wish you all the best. Until next time.